Action Podcast, focusing live for you. Figures, news, and geek talk too. Always frank and always real. Collecting and the community are our deal. Hit that like, join the tribe, and if new, hit subscribe.
And what's up, everybody? It's me, True Star Screamer. And you know what that means. You know what day it is? That's right. It is 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It is time for the Figure Action Podcast, where, at least in this case, it's one solo man over the age of 45 sitting here complaining about toys made for children 5 and up. Mike, again, is out tonight. It's more because he's got some family stuff, so he will be back here next week. He assured me. He promised me, and we miss him. We are, of course, still looking for more to expand on the staff here. I want to say hi to everyone in the chat. We've got Toy Mafia here giving some acknowledgement for those no longer with us. And Aquateki, salute to you as well. And, of course, not only to you guys in the live chat, but to you guys in the replay squad. I want to say thank you so much as always. And if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. We're trying to get to 1,000. I know we kind of stalled out here, so we need your help. That's right. Once again, it's kind of a slow week in news, but not a bad thing at all. Only got a little bit of stuff. I've got more stuff coming in anticipated next week, but I do got one cool thing. That's right. I got the Red Death from UPF Toys. Can't call them LPZ anymore. I have absolutely been enjoying this run of figures. Probably some of the best DC figures I have handled in ages. I am not going in art, though I do have to say the pre-order, and I will be talking about that, for the Dawnbreaker Dark Metal figure went up this week. The scale an issue with them. In art has been, UPF has been consistent with the scaling, and that's the big thing. And, yeah, Daniel, it has been too long. And it's good to have you commenting back again. Because remember, guys, every one of your chats is a super chat, and I'll try to pay attention to all of them. Of course, when we do talk about the news, I'll be going off camera, so I'll be kind of clicking back and forth to it. What else has been kind of going crazy? I do have a new review up on the True Star Screamer channel of the Oni Chi figure, the big-ass purple guy that got last week, and it is a big-ass purple figure. I'm looking at it right now, still on the display section. It is absolutely cool, and you should absolutely check that review out. Any other crazy news in my life? I will possibly be doing some guest streaming on a few other streams a little later this month. I'll let you guys know. I'll put announcements on my channel about that. It's kind of cool. Been kind of talking to a few other guys, and just nice getting to know people out there in the toy tuber world. We try to keep the drama low here. We try to keep the plastic flowing. I did clean out a little bit more of my collection last week. Again, I'm just thinning things out. I am not out of the hobby by far. As you can see, I'm still getting stuff. It is just talking about quality, not quantity, or service, that is a little bit of foreshadowing of a later topic that I expect all you guys in the chat and in the comment sections in general to add to the conversation. Because if you guys saw the title page for this, it is not fun being a collector right now, especially for exclusives. But we will talk about that in a little bit, because right now we want to talk about toys. Because that's what makes everybody happy. And while I don't collect as much of them, I still love my Transformers. And we need to talk about possibly a figure we've been waiting for ages, and that is the Missing Link Soundwave. I have been out of this loop, but let me tell you, one of the few Transformers I did keep was my Masterpiece Soundwave, and this, my friends, this looks abso-freaking-lutely incredible. Again, the whole Missing Link series is like the Transformers we dreamed of, and if I was starting fresh as a Transformer collector, this would absolutely be the line I would be collecting. Because this hits the nostalgia, and this hits those things that we were just missing. Again, we got a lot of accessories here. Headphones, Laserbeak, I guess you get two. They got two versions coming out, which is kind of interesting. One with I call him Rumble, even though because he's blue, and as I mentioned before, one with Laserbeak. You get it's cool. They can do the freaking tower mode, no problem. And I'm liking everything I see here. Oh, sorry, it's the drone. I apologize. The drone that was used in that one episode, I think with the explosive crystals, if I recall. So I'm glad to see this guy get some love. I am surprised Hasbro never made one of these. Here's comparing the 1985 to the new version right there. It's all the love you could ask for. Plain and simple. I mean, it looks almost the same silhouette, just with adding those new joints to it. You get the headphones on there, which is absolutely awesome. You get the sprue with the weapons, so that means that's why it's one of the reasons it'll be Takara only, because usually that stuff doesn't come over to the US. And yeah, the Decepticons absolutely are getting outnumbered by the Autobots, because in Japan, villain toys just don't sell. Thank you, the Auto Scout. I appreciate that, Daniel. Seriously, if you ever look at the old Car Robots show, or we call it Robots in Disguise, there were so many Autobots and like five Predacons and the Combaticons and Scourge. Like that was it. Because again, in Japan, it's all about the good guys. The villains hardly ever sell. So there's Soundwave and the Auto Scout. Listening to oneself, I guess. But like I said, I like this a lot. And if I could, I would absolutely be putting a pre-order for this. It's probably going to be like 150 because they are proud of their figures these days. With other Soundwaves, though, and other releases, this is from the Earthspark line. Again, this is that kids line. And we have the full reveal of Soundwave and Cosmos. Now, I was talking to T-Man earlier. Apparently, in Earthspark, Cosmos is both a female figure, which I don't mind with that. Pathfinder and GoBots, for example, was female. But apparently is also huge. Like, not a mini-bot. Soundwave here, as a stealth bomber, is interesting. This kind of reminds me a carryover from the Cybertron version of him way back in the day. So it's kind of cool, but is Cosmos carrying a weapon or a karaoke mic? I mean, I don't know. It's weird. The head is so tiny. I don't know. I know this is for the kids line, but I am not a fan of this redesign. Most of it, at least. I like the tractor beam or the anti-gravity devices, though, on the underside of their shell. So apparently the front comes off, and that's where that weapon is. So if you guys are watching Earthspark, cool. Yes, every hero does need a good villain. But if you're watching Earthspark, cool. It's a thing. I mean, I have no problem with evolving a character, but I just can't get behind this at all. Soundwave, though, is interesting. I don't hate this. Of course, these are really hollow. These are the kids' toys. The plastic is so hollow. But I do like this alt mode a lot more, that's for sure. And like I said, this reminds me so much of that Cybertron form, which I thought was actually really cool, for that jet. I remember at one point in the show, they actually had a CGI model of the old G1 just for a little bit of an homage, which I thought was kind of cool. Does not look like the chest opens, though. That's annoying. I like my Soundwave to at least have some kind of companion. Oh. Again, this is the kids line, so I don't feel too bad for that one. I remember when the Bumblebee stuff was going on there, the Cyberverse one. T-Man used to collect those toys. I remember I collected one of them, I think the Grimlock, and I was like, I love Transformers, but this is when I started thinning things out and stopped buying it all. But with more sound waves, we also get the Transformers 1 sound wave. We get an Age of Extinction Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper. And this is all in the new Studio line of figures. So my only biggest issue with these guys is they are tiny. And they're going to be charging $27 for these things. Plastic looks kind of thin, but the detail looks really nice. A lot of good sculpt in this. A lot of really good sculpt. If you are a customizer, or if you're getting into painting like I've been lately, something like this Bumblebee here, a little bit of dry brushing will go a long way on bringing out those details. But look at, I mean, that Prime is only like this big. So that Bumblebee is going to be like that big. That's probably my number one issue with these figures. They're just so small. Alt mode looks nice. Not a fan of how the weapon is just literally tagged on back there, though. I mean, what they're charging, they should do a little better for that. Cliff Jumper looks fine. Looks absolutely fine. I mean, the Bumblebee figure, I know T-Man loved his. But again, look how tiny he is compared to that stand. But it's complete. No hollowness in the legs, which is nice. You can see the alt mode. It looks just like the Penny Racer figure. So, if you're collecting this line, that is absolutely the definitive Cliff Jumper right there. I like how they got the rear wheel and the front wheel off scale. But let me know how you guys think. You know, you guys in the chat. We got. I wish. Actually, there's not really much I could wish for this aside from the size. This is cartoon accurate. Again, the weapon actually looks a lot better being plugged in back there. So, and Soundwave has stature. That's probably the best thing going for this. I'm not a fan of the proportions, but that's just more of a subjective description because I know this is how he was in the movie. The blockies looked really nice with this. So if you're a fan of this design of Soundwave and you didn't want to build a model, this is absolutely the figure for you. A little bigger than Thundercracker, which I thought was kind of nice. But again, those proportions just aren't my style. And that is just a weird alt mode. I know it's a Cybertronian mode, but still, it's weird. And they couldn't give him any kind of tape. Oh, you know what? I should put some music on here. That's one thing. I don't have Mike here, so I don't have anybody talking with, and I'm not someone like a Punk with Toys with a lot of stuff coming through. So let's get some music going on here. I'm feeling a little bit of this. There we go. Little what they call feeding the ducks, as they say. Hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. Let me know in the chats how that's going. That gray panel on Cliff Jumper's back pillar needs to be red. I'll give you that. You can always get more paint. But for right now, this is the best we're going to be getting from Hasbro for quite some time. Unless you wanted to buy yourself a 3-0 figure, which, again, it's more like Cybertronian mode, or hopefully a proper third-party figure. Or maybe Takara will come up with a proper version of it. And then, yes, you'll be paying an import price, but at least you'll be able to get what you like. And that's the big thing, guys. I want you to buy what you like. I want you to get your value out of this. Mentioning before how... And also, I'm really happy that Cliff Jumper is not a repaint. That it is an actual little bit... That is some retooling on here, some remolding on here. Because if there's anything Transformer manufacturers love, is a repaint. And this is Magna Regalis. This is a good Autobot version repaint of Predaking. Like, they're not even bothering to do any retooling. This is kind of like Predaking in almost Dinobot colors. So I would have much rather a Volcanus remold or retooling personally, but it's interesting. The colors look cool. I won't say that. I will definitely not discount them. I find it interesting with the asymmetry in the coloring, especially in the wings with the blue and the red. They have that theme going through here, as you can see on the Razor Claw on here, or the Razor Claw. I'm not sure his name on this, but this side here is red, while the other side of the mane is blue. Again, the Dive Bomb, or whatever he's called. Again, we got the larger wings on it. So that's an interesting theme with the color asymmetry. But it's essentially just a straight repaint, no retooling whatsoever. It's a cool looking figure. I have not put it in hand. Again, it's got a lot of Combiner War aspect going on to it, with just a lot more accessories, and like with the feet and all. It's definitely going to look striking on the collection, but I don't know who the target audience is for this, to be honest. If you are that target audience, please let me know and tell me why you need to have this. A Shattered Glass Predaking would have been great, or like I said, a little bit of retooling just to make it into something else. I mean, again, cool colors, and someone's going to buy it. Okay, get back here. Got it. There we go. But while that is a good version of Predaking, Takara's new MPG figure is an evil Rhinox. They're calling him Decepticon. They should have just called him Destron, because that's what they called him in Japan. He's got the mutant face on here, which I think is kind of cool. But this is that one time that Rhinox was converted evil. So we've got red eyes on both the beast mode as well as the bot mode. If you're a completionist, I understand, because this was that one time in that one episode. I just don't know if that quite qualifies for a full release. I do like he's got Predacon emblems in his weapons. I think that's a very, very nice touch, though. So at least they're adding some cosmetic effects, giving him a little more of a sinister look to it. And the mutant head absolutely adds to that. So we got the Gatling guns here, and the other faceplate on there. I don't know if this first one came with that sword. You guys will have to tell me. I'm at the vehicle mode. Okay, gotcha on that one. So, it's interesting what they're doing with the MPG line. And it's not bad. I almost would have accepted this as a third-party kit, to be honest, as opposed to a full release. But if I wanted to get a third-party kit, at least I knew who I can talk to, and that is my buddies over at DNA Squared. DNA Design. Man, I can segue like nobody's business. This is actually pretty cool. This is for the Nexus Prime. We've got some additional wings, some additional body parts, filler parts on here, some weapons, and a new head. Not only for the bot mode, but also for the combiner mode. And it absolutely gives this guy a lot more personality. I especially like the fact they give him a matrix. It's interesting that it's definitely more chop filler than leg filler, so nothing to add to the feet or the thighs. But I can understand that because for the combined mode. It definitely, like I said, he has a much more intimidating silhouette, which I think he needs. I saw the figure the other day in stores. I thought it was interesting, but it didn't quite, pull me per se. But DNA, they know exactly how to bring that potential out of a figure. I love that this, he's got the Matrix there. I don't know if you saw that here, but he's got a Matrix in the gun as well. So it's like a Matrix blaster. So I think that's a neat idea, lore-wise. Oh, Winston, it is good to see you. It is so good to see you. I've always looked up to that man, mostly because I have no choice, because he's like 6'6" and I'm 5'6". I love this Matrix blaster on here, like I was saying. This new head, again, has presence, and this is how the figures should be. It's a shame it takes someone like DNA to bring it out. This is pretty neat, putting everything onto just the gun, including the original parts. That's a very neat look. Oh, okay, that's actually kind of cool. I didn't even see that. That's different. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but that's definitely different. Definitely makes him taller. But this is the big thing. Look at the combine mode. I like putting the chest on the rifle on there, and then you're supposed to have it reversed to make him the chest, but I love putting those wings back there when he takes over the combiner piece. Very, very cool. It reversed again. That's what I was saying before. He has such stage presence now. And this is using the Superion with all its add-on kits. And then the alt mode looks so much better. So much more fleshed out. And then combining it with, in this case, the Silver Bolt. I think that's the only one you could really use until they come out with the scatter shot, I guess. Because that would look really dumb. Hooked up to either Motormaster or Onslaught. But no pricing yet. I would absolutely say if you are getting the Nexus, if you have the Nexus Prime figure, this would absolutely be a good investment to put for your collection. And finally, with the third party, Dr. Wu has just announced they're doing essentially their little versions of Trailbreaker and Run Amok. Though Run Amok's alt mode looks suspiciously like Sunstreaker, which I think that's a very interesting direction to take for a repaint. So, 5 centimeters tall, guys. 5 centimeters. Buy it, enjoy it. Pray to God you don't drop anything into the carpet. That's all I can say. And now for the big story this week. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Like I said, and for the big story this week, guys, if you've been catching people on the Facebook groups, a lot of people on Instagram, their reels and all. A lot of people woke up getting this text or email. We're sorry to inform you that we had to cancel an item from your order. There was an issue on our end that prevented them from fulfilling it. And this has been for a lot of people's, there's the Studio Series More Than Meets the Eye Voyager class Starscream. That's been canceled. Or their Prowls. Now this Prowl was going for $28, and of course Starscream was going for $43. If any of you guys, first of all, who are in the chat, if you guys were watching this show, if you guys were subjected to this, that sucks. And I am sorry for you. Dude, seriously, I am sorry for. Because that absolutely sucks being a collector. It's one of the things I hate hearing the word exclusive. Store exclusive specifically. It always puts that additional bit of tension. I personally was subjected to this when Walmart lost my exclusive Venom, retro-carded Venom. Yeah, Target being called everything but a child of God right now. Like I said, when Walmart lost my retro card Venom, it infuriated me because, of course, that figure is next to impossible to find. I did eventually get it in the blue version, yay, because I did not want him blue, which made me even madder because it was such a good figure. I need to say this. I'm going to go ahead and embiggen myself for it because it's time. It's time we had a talk. It is absolutely, as I say, Hasbro is not obligated to you. And you are not obligated to Hasbro. We are consumers. We spend our money. We are in a capitalistic society. This is not going to be that kind of rant. I'm not going to break into economics right now. But one of the big things is you don't have to take it. And if you do take it and you don't like the results, the best thing you can always do is speak with your wallet. Sadly, like I said, Target got your money. Target got paid. Obviously, they over reserved. They ordered 500,000 units and 600,000 units were sold. The units were paid for. Hasbro don't care because they sold all their units. So as far as everybody is concerned, they got paid for what they bought. They made their investment, they got paid, and some of us are left holding the bag until they decide to do a repaint, a re-release, or find more product 3 months later type of thing. And of course, release it at an additional 3 to 5% higher because that's how the market is going right now. Oh my gosh, I gotta keep trimming my mustache. I'm sorry. You guys see me wipe my nose, it's because I got freaking whiskers going up them. I'm sure you needed to know that. But I digress. Like I said, I have personally made the conscious decision to break those ties. So your Transformers are getting canceled. A lot of people with their G.I. Joes have been getting canceled for their Target exclusives. And it sucks for them. It sucks because a lot of us are completionists. I always call it I used to call it my GCD, my geek compulsive disorder. And all of a sudden not getting what I want would always bug me. I have that. I'm missing that one figure, and it would drive me nuts. I was collecting classified during the Viper Island bullshit. Oh dear Lord, that was driving me nuts. To finally get myself a Major Blood, hunting all over for it, and not finding it. And then you go online and you see the story of some guy going on there with, oh, I bought 4 of them. One to keep in the box, one to keep in the bot mode, one to keep in the alt mode, and one just in case. Oh, my just in case, by the way, is going on eBay now for $80. Yeah, that's bullshit. And I'm sorry when you're a victim of that bullshit. But the worst part is, the companies don't care. So all I can say is you either can A, buy it from a third party, B, hope for a re-release, C, learn to live and move on with life, or D, just say fuck it and just say you're done with the game. Obviously, I've kind of elected to go with D because that's what's giving me peace of mind. Only you can determine what's going to give you peace of mind. Please remember, this is a hobby. This is an escape. This is supposed to be fun. We deal with enough BS in real life, whether we're dealing with work, whether we're dealing with personal relations, whether we're dealing with family relations, whether we're dealing with economic relations, whatever. You have your mental health that you need to deal with. This should not be detracting you from that mental health. This should not be taking out the operative word, as Aquateki has here. My mouse is not doing its thing. If it's not fun, don't put yourself through that BS. You deserve better. Got it? You deserve better. And there are people who that will give you better, whether it's going through going retro. I saw someone. If you collecting the modern stuff and it's not doing it, start collecting retro. It's fun. That's going on a toy hunt. That's going on all that other kind of stuff. The stuff's already been made, so that's one thing to go with. Go third party. Collect new lines and support independent toy collectors, independent toy creators. Whether you're collecting Mythic Legions, whether you're collecting Savage Crucible, whether you're collecting Action Force, whether you're collecting Monster Force. A lot of these are passion projects made by people who care. Yes, they still want to make money, but they've got these smaller margins. They've got a smaller audience. This is their livelihood, so they will give you the service, you the product, because if they do a faulty product, it will be affecting them. I'm just saying, there's better for you out there. And seeing stuff like this from Hasbro, seeing stuff like this from Target. See, I told you he'd be back, guys. I told you. But like I said, there's so many companies out there that will more than willing to fight for your business. Give them a listen to. You know. Yes, this is the new Starscream. It does not negate the 8 other Starscreams that you already own. Yes, there's a new Prime. It does not negate the 12 other Primes that you have. You've got the character. You've got this version. You don't necessarily need the new hat. And they're capitalizing on that aspect of us. And if they're effing us over with that one, and Winston just started collecting Gundams. Yep. Have fun with that. I've built many in my time. That backlog will build up faster than you think. That's all I can say. You're gonna have fun though. Just make sure you start absorbing some of the media too, and avoid Gundam Battle Online. That game was addictive as hell, and it still pisses me off. I do still play it, by the way. It's free to play. All right, enough about that. Enough about me complaining. Enough about. Oh crap! We're about to talk about this. Never mind. Remember I said about complaining? I'm sorry. I wish Mariano was here because I know he collects this. This is the vintage collection. This is the Amani Guard and TB, and then Embo and Kibu. I could not tell you anything about this. What I can tell you is this. These are vintage series figures. So that means these are 1/18th class figures. 1/18th scale figures. This guard right here is $28. Sorry. So this guy is 28. That is crazy. And then, sorry, Embo and Kibu is Black Series figures. Now this is some very nice box art, don't get me wrong. But this is going for $52. So, much like they charge for a deluxe classified figure. And at least you're getting some soft goods here with the lower cape here, which is nice. But again, you're getting single jointed elbows, single jointed knees, the crossbow, and that's $52. How they can charge people that with a good conscience, I can't believe that. So, no picks? What do you mean for picks? Which picks am I not? Oh, geez, it did not pull up. I apologize, man. I'm sitting here going like, what's going on? I did not put this on the right window. I apologize. That's me. That is all me, guys. This is what the problem when I'm running this show by myself. I need a production guy. I apologize. I thought I was clicking on the pics, and I did not have it sharing on here. I am sorry. This is the 1/18th scale figure that they're charging $28 for. So he's big, he oogly. I'm sure he's straight from the screen, but it's $28. You get 2 spears. Proportions are interesting. I have to say that. And then mention 4. This is the guy going for $52. I apologize again. And oh, we'll talk about that. Absolutely. That's a good discussion on there. This is the figure that's going for 52. I want to say that the animal here is probably something that's being retooled from one of the G.I. Joe classified animals. And this is what I said before. Single jointed knees. The lower part here is some cloth goods, but we got the solid plastic here on the other part of the uniform. So it's going to also restrict some articulation. Single jointed arms. All this for you for $52. So it looks like he also has a melee weapon as well. Like, this is just... I can't. I cannot endorse this at all. I guess this guy was in the Mandalorian movie. Cerrone, I have to disagree with you on that. As somebody who just was selling part of his collection, especially my Transformers, I need to tell you about this. So much of that collection went down in value. I want to leave that up here. So much of my Transformer collection went down in value. Especially figures like Galvatron, which has had 3 or 4 different repaints now. Megatrons that have come out there. Again, this time we mean is the definitive version. Some have gone up in price, absolutely. But so many of my figures that were the leader class, the commander class, went down. It was scary. All my Black Series. One of the things you can always do, there's a fantastic website, actionfigures411.com. It is a great one to use when pricing your figures because it will track a figure like a stock market, like a stock, and it will actually tell you what the last time that figure was selling for. Not what it's listed for, but what it sells for. And then you can track the best way to sell it based on that. And it is scary how much figures are starting to lose value because so many get reissued, repainted on them, that when we bought it the first time, it nixes it. So that's just something I learned the hard way. Mentioned before of more things that I'm probably not going to purchase. This was announced at SDCC, but I don't think we really talked about this Scarlet Witch and Vision 2-pack. This cape, I mean, they may as well have just made this. This should have been a McFarlane statue because he can't do anything. If he even stays, I mean, this cape is so big, he's probably balanced on his cape. So it's good for the one pose, yes, but that's going to be it. You're not going to be, and he's going to take up so much shelf space. Scarlet Witch has some nice assets. I won't deny that. Yeah, I went there. But this cape is insane. They couldn't even. It reminds me of the Batman Year 2 that McFarlane put out. I love this effect here with Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is absolutely gorgeous. Pinless body, some excellent detail. I'm very curious how they're going to reuse some of these pieces. I would love to see these sleeves on a new Lady Deathstrike, for example. I love these ankle-high boots. I think they might be using those on Enchantress. I can't remember. But, yeah, this looks excellent. But this Vision, holy hell. On this old body, and he just pretty much is going to stand there and do that. So God bless you if you're buying it. If you could find the Scarlet Witch loose, I'd absolutely go for that. But that vision is just no thank you. At that point, just go cloth goods, kids, and pay extra. Oh no, you're not getting your original MSRP. You are absolutely not going to get your for especially for Transformers, you're not going to get them. Marvel Legends, you're not going to get them because a lot of Marvel Legends with the MS when you bought them, especially for the older ones, that was during the Build-A-Figure phase. People were buying for the Build-A-Figure part, not for the Legend. So you definitely should check out that site. It will give you a nice little bit of reality check on some of your collection. So that's the big thing with that. Keep that in mind. As far as alternate goes, I want to mention this. Blockies just announced their Ultron, and from Marvel Rivals, I will be buying this. This looks absolutely awesome. And he is geared up. Weapons, melee, blasting. If he comes with that stand, excellent. I mean, this is probably one of their higher end ones. This is not going to be their champion class, so it should be more in scale with the 6-inch figures. But this looks absolutely sick. And if he comes with that throne, please. I mean, that's just a beautiful display right there. If you're an Ultron fan, and that's the thing about Ultron, you can use him and buy so many versions of him because he keeps upgrading himself. Alternate versions, movies, video games, they'll all flow well. So it just looks like a fun build. So yeah, okay, he comes with the throne, comes with the display stand. This probably won't be one of their cheaper ones, but I think this will be absolutely worth the value. And a Blockies kit builds so easily, so much easier than Gunpla. I'm putting this in here. Marvel Rivals Hood. Announced in the Marvel Rivals game, by the way, is the Hood. And this is big for a couple. This is actually cool for a couple things. I want to put this over here. This made me excited for a lot of reasons. First of all, the voice actor for the Hood is going to be Damian Priest, a WWE wrestler who's very, very cool. A lot of good matches, former champion, was part of the... He's done a lot of cool stuff. But he's a geek and he's happy for that. But as soon as I saw that Marvel Rivals is doing the Hood, I immediately am like, Blockies, give me my figure. Because they will give me a gorgeous soft goods cape figure. I saw it was on Marvelous News that he was released for $52. I'm not surprised that the price went up from there. So you were asking about that. Sorry, it was a Toy Arc. Not Marvelous News, Toy Arc. Do they have that on there? Oh, you know what? Toy Arc took when I read the article originally, Toy Arc took that pricing off of there. I apologize. So yeah, sorry, it costs even more, and you're still getting less figure for Embo with dog. Go with that as you will. Anyway, as I'm saying, I'm incredibly excited for the fact that Hood is coming into Marvel Rivals because, like I said, I want that Blockies because it will go so well with that Moon Knight that I have. That makes me excited. That makes me so excited. Oh, get over here. Finally, Mezco, because I do like to talk about Mezcos here. This is one I'm not getting, but I do think it's if you're a DC collector, this is probably going to be your definitive Solomon Grundy until we see what Mattel is releasing, or unless a third party comes out with something like 6-inch plus toys. This looks amazing. Again, D Amazing, I believe, was just the photography for these. He just looks so good. The soft goods on here, the detail on it. I love this figure. I'm not a big Solomon Grundy fan personally, but this is absolutely doing justice to the character. Those tattered clothes to it. He's got that sinister aura. I'm not pre-ordering it. I'm being strong. But if you're a big old school DC fan, this is very, very cool to have. Accessories, not a lot, but he doesn't need a lot. We got these awesome faces. Got the hands. Got a tree trunk for him to whack some heroes with. And your display base. So... And I'm going to end this with some pre-orders that popped up on 5K Toys, because, again, they had some very cool stuff show up this week. One for me was the LPZZ or UPF Absolute Batman, who's quite comic book accurate. Yes, the unmasked head is quite tiny, but he is wearing a lot of body armor. But look at all this gear he has. All these hands, not just different arms, different shoulder pads, different weapons, a chainsaw, lower face plates. I mean, it is like he jumped from the comic. I mean, this is like going as Absolute Poison Ivy. Buzzsaws on the forearms with a chainsaw and a mask. That emo hair. The articulation is absolutely perfect from these guys. It looks like there might be faux leather with wiring for the cape. Yes, he used a shotgun. Yes, he's got the big axe. I absolutely pre-ordered this as soon as the announcement came up. Another interesting one is if you're a fan of 90s Hong Kong movies like I am. I haven't pulled the trigger on this, but this is a Chow Yun-Fat figure. Reminds me of A Better Tomorrow. So he looks, or God of Gambling. I think this is God of Gambling. This might be God of Gambling. I'm not sure. Face sculpt is okay. It's more of an homage to Chow Yun-Fat because it's not quite there. Still looks something a little off for me personally. I see here that the guns don't quite fit in his hands, but this is why you buy him. You know, jumping in the air. I kind of wish he had some bullet effects though. That would have been kind of nice to set things off. Yeah, accessories for days. This is by Mountain Studios. For customizers, Win Toys, I've seen this appearing on a lot of my videos, my reels on Instagram. I don't do too much of the blank bodies, but it's this Titan body. Gee, I wonder why they made it in green. He's got chopping hands, pointing hands, fist hands. For you to do whatever you choose. Maybe 3D print up a head, maybe do some super sculpting, it's up to you. But it's pretty cool that they have it. The last one I want to mention is from V-Toys. This is their Crimson Dawn Taki figure. I have a review of the first Taki figure. It's pretty cool. It wasn't jaw-dropping, but it is absolute presence on the shelf. So if you definitely want something different for your collection, I do recommend this, but they are not cheap. This is like $120 $106. Finally, want to bring this one up. I mean, I know it's a lot of stuff on there, but I was talking before about InArt versus LPZZ. They did get their pre-orders up for their Devastator figure. So this is, again, from Dark Metal. This is when Batman infected himself with the Doomsday virus to fight a rogue Superman. Detail is gorgeous. I mean, I cannot deny that. I just don't know if I could pay $165 for this, personally. If one of them appeared for me from InArt because they wanted me to review it, I would not say no, but that ain't gonna happen anytime soon. We all know that. But the other one, though, is the Dawnbreaker, which is basically evil Batman as Green Lantern. I am semi-tempted for this for a one-off. But again, it's $150. I'm not saying it's there. I'm just not saying... I don't know if I want to go into this rabbit hole. Because I love this look. I thought the Dawnbreaker was absolutely a scary concept, almost Lovecraftian cosmic horror. So it comes with this display stand with the tentacles coming up. Again, just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of plastic. The effect part are great. It's like a movable statue in all the best ways. $155 from Big Bad Toy Store. Yep, admire it from a distance. That's probably the safest bet right there. So, and that is all our major news to talk about. Like I said, you kind of got me doing one of my personal rants here, just because, again, I've been collecting. I've done hardcore collecting since I was 23 years old. So I've been down almost every avenue of collecting, from retro, new, imports, third party, being a completionist, army building. I'm looking at stuff right now. I hate saying the word slave to nostalgia. Again, I still have my retro. I'm actually actively doing a retro Megazord collection. Oh. Well, I understand you've had a long day at work. I hope dinner goes well. We were talking about Star Wars and Transformers for you, Mariano. I did call you out. I'm sorry you missed it. But anyway, like I was saying, obviously collect what you want to collect, but I don't want you to make life-altering decisions of, do I buy these toys or do I buy dinner next week type of thing? Or, okay, I can eat ramen for a week versus that type of thing. We all want Jada to finish. And that's the wonderful thing, is they're about to. T-Hawk, I believe, is starting to show up on some sites like Entertainment Earth. So we're just waiting for him. I'm personally just waiting for him to show up at Big Bad Toy Store. And then they'll give us a slight break and they'll come out with their Alpha 3 figures, which, as much as I love my Storm collectible Alpha figures, I know that Jada's going to give me the full roster, which is the big thing. And I'm hoping Jada, for their Alpha 3 figures, is listening to people bitching about the Storm Arenas, the mistakes they're making, like they did with Dan, and correcting on that. That's just me with my fingers crossed. But like I said before, collect what you want to collect how you want to collect, keep reality in check, take care of yourselves. We'll be wrapping up again right at this 9:55 mark. Mike will be back with us next week. We got some cool stuff as always on the books. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. As always, my friends, until next time, we'll see you next week. Take care. Peace.
Until we meet again.